listening live to ACIM Gather, a gathering for A Course in Miracles and Teachers. For more shows and information, visit acimgather.com.
It's okay to have just a little, and it's swell to have a lot. On the bottom or in the middle, in a rowboat or a yacht. Love is what we long for, to be acknowledged and to be seen. In the end, does it really matter if you're a prince, a pauper, or a queen? The more you give, the more you live. Your happiness is relative. And if you're feeling like crap, it's time to face the fact. It's your prerogative to be positive. If we become what we believe, then as we think, you shall receive. So let go of the past, pull your head from your ass. It's your prerogative to be positive. Here where the ever after is, here is where the laughter is. Be a tambourine man in the yellow submarine and be positive. Positive. Don't hang on tight, let it all go. The more you find out, the less you know. Life is just slipping right through your hands. She's up there, not the one you're making your plans. Try your best, give it all you got. You might win, you might lose, shoot your best shot. Get mad, get even, if you lost. You gotta learn how to love, learn how to trust. The more you give, the more you live. Your happiness is relative. But if you're feeling like crap, it's time to face the fact. It's your prerogative to be positive.
All right, and good morning, and welcome all to another edition of ACIM Gather with Regis on this thankful Thursday, following a good trio with Dove and Sharon and Lori, all tag teaming there with some real reminders and some real practicalities of how we incorporate A Course in Miracles into this experience we have. And the temptation is to incorporate the Course in Miracles into life, but that life is really not life at all. It's the fantasy. So we like to, I was thinking about this. We were in a group a few days ago, and we were talking about how we've all been at that place where what we call life happens, and we have to step away from the Course in Miracle groups. We think, oh, well, I have some real life situations, so I have to step away from my teaching and all of my support group and go take care of life. And that's the worst possible thing that you can do. It's like, so I have said this for years. We really, even the average so-called Christian, whether you think you're Christian or mighty companion of A Course in Miracles, whatever, we really treat it as though it's theory. We don't treat it as though it's real. We treat it as though it's just a book I read. But real life is my high blood pressure, my divorce, raising my kids, getting a job, going to vote. That's the real life. And so as soon as real life starts getting shook up as we think it, we step away from the very thing that's sustaining us. Well, we call Lynn up and say, Lynn, I won't be able to do my shift. I won't be able to do my hour for a few weeks because life is happening. I got to go attend to real life. And boy, the ego just got us on the hamster wheel. So think about what you're thinking about. Think about what you're saying. Think about what prompted you to say that and the thought behind the thought that prompted you to say it. Because there you will find a deep, entrenched illusion and projection and perception all coming at you at once. This is the real life, the life Christ in me, the hope of glory, the life in the presence, in essence of the truth of who. This is the life. This is what is real. I am not a body. I am still as God created me. That's the truth of who I am. I am a thought in the mind of God, and I am an extension of God. And we're going to start right there where we left off on this past Tuesday. And I said I was going to incorporate chapter 11 with my birthday lesson, which was August 23rd yesterday, lesson 235. We'll see if we make it. And in the introduction of chapter 11, because I've just really been talking about the thoughts, who's thinking the thoughts. I heard Lori, Lori's still hanging out. Lori was talking about who she was attracted to and who she wasn't attracted to. And I was kind of thinking, though, but who's the person that's attracted? Who's the person with the attraction? And who's the person that's watching me having the attraction? Which one is real? Think about it, my brother. So you gotta take it with a grain of salt, which that's what she was doing. It's like, okay, well, when I say, oh, I'm attracted to this lady, yeah, that's not even me. It's not even my attraction. It's a makeup. Really, this is what I believe it is. I believe what I say I'm attracted to and the type of woman I'm attracted to. And when I get around this woman, I start feeling all this stuff. I think that's just a makeup of all my upbringing, my childhood, all of the mistaught stuff and movies I've watched. And I think about myself and how that would play out with me being the hero or the villain in somebody's life. And this person looks like they would be a great supporting actress in my story. I think they would really work out. This would make a great movie. So when I say I'm attracted to this or that, who is that? Who is the person that's attracted, and who's the person that's watching the attraction? Who's the person that's noticing that I'm attracted to this person? So they've already answered in the chat room. And by the way, you can join us in Pal Talk chat. That's where you can join us and type your comments. And it's a fun place to visit and be and to join with us. Gather. So ACM Gather on Pal Talk. If you download the Pal Talk app on your laptops, cell phones, iPads, or whatever, Also, you can join us at acimgather.us. That's the website where you can find out about this organization and all of its various speakers that come on throughout the week, and where you can also download and listen straight from the website, or download a radio app that's available, where you can download a radio app to your phones and just tune in like a radio station to ACM Gather all day long. And you can join us on YouTube Live. And I have YouTube up, but I don't see my feed for some reason today. But I hope it's there. But I haven't. Oh, there it is, August 24th. So maybe because of the music thing that it was temporarily not available. So I'll check that theory out later. But I'm there now. There I am. There I be. And so all these various mediums where you can join us for ACIM Gather, but as I was saying, they were chatting in the chat room about, yeah, it's really not me that's attracted. And Laura said, according to the movies, all sex is hot on the counter and last 1 minute. Women don't come like that. Sorry, movies, you're wrong. Yeah, and I was thinking about how many, for real, on real, as they say, real talk, how many relationships have we sabotaged or have started to sabotage because we were really trying to play out a movie scene in our mind? We were really just having all of these, you go to an hour, a basic movie is probably no more than an hour and a half. 2 hours is considered long. 3 hours is a super long movie. And you got Mr. and Mrs. meet, at the mall. They bumping each other shopping, and they have a whole relationship in 30 minutes. In 90 minutes, and we're basing our experiences that happen over years and months, 20 minutes. And it's interesting that we have all these ideals, and we forget about boundaries. Lori, I was thinking about this yesterday, about this fantasy, and they projected a lot in movies, like, if he really loves you, he'll give you the last bite of whatever he's eating. If it's my favorite cake, ma'am, you're not getting the last bite. This cake is mine. And just because I don't give you the last bite, don't mean I really don't love you. I like this cake, and you're not getting the last bite. If he lets you eat off his plate, that means he really loves you. All this craziness. And we bring these tests into our relationship with people. And we're trying to test them. We don't even want the piece of cake. We just want to see if they'll give it to us. And we bring out these idiotic tests, and we put people through the ringer over all this foolishness, and we self-sabotage, and then we say, and it's just downhill. We're just on the hamster wheel, and it's downhill from that. And Gloria typed all the insanity of specialists, yes. And it's not, is in specialists that is not even original. It's a specialness that we saw somebody else do, that some movie writer wrote, or some other people that we knew in our life, and their husband treated them like this, and he was such a good husband to my friend that I went to high school with. They have the best marriage, and I want my marriage to be like their marriage. And they just hold hands, and they just snuggle and kiss each other and have all this public affection, and I want mine to be just like that. And we just, it's just one person that I like, she says it's just insanity gone to seed. And that's pretty much what it is. So in paragraph 3 of the introduction, 11, we've been looking at this chapter 11 introduction and section 5, the dynamics of the ego. We've been looking at this since Monday. And so I'm at paragraph 3 now, and I'm just going to dive into it. You make projection, what I just started out saying. You make projection, but God creates by extension. The stone of God's creation is you, for his thought system is light, Light, if you're not following along. And I can copy and paste that into our chat room, just a little of it. Let's see. And of course, we all know, Nigel, the biggest special relationship we have is the special relationship we have with our persona, with our what we call ourself. That's the most, that's the biggest, and that's the special relationship that is us the most. And everything else is a projection and a perception out of that. You make, which means I make, which means bodies make, bodies with thinking minds make. You make projection, but God creates by extension. The cornerstone of God is you, for his thought. Come on, I got a little pop up here in my way. For his thought system is light. Remember the rays, the capital R, the rays that are there. Remember the rays that are there unseen. The more you approach the center of his thought system, the clearer the light becomes. The closer you come to the foundation of the ego's thought system, the darker and more obscure becomes the way. Even the little spark in your mind is enough to lighten it. Bring this light fearlessly with you and bravely hold it up to the foundation of the ego's thought system. So this whole introduction has been just, and Karen wants Lynn to put the Zoom link up, and that would be lovely for you to join us in Zoom, Karen. This whole introduction, where I started with you on Monday, was really encouraging us to not to be afraid to look. So every paragraph is amazingly, in some kind of way, telling us our first step is to look. We saw in earlier chapters where it says you must first realize you're miserable. You know, you can't even begin to embark on a happy life or a happy journey until you first realize that you're miserable. That's the first step. You got to look, you know, and as I said, and I found it a few days ago, where A Course in Miracles was telling us we were just like kids pulling the cover over their, and I will bring that up real quick. It was just so funny to me seeing that depiction in my mind, and of a child just pulling the covers over their head. And then wow, lo and behold, here it is in the Course. So, and thank you. Oh, Zuma, happy birthday and welcome. She's here. And Zuma posted, you who are steadfastly devoted to misery must first recognize that you are miserable and not happy. We got to first look. So this third paragraph in the is again needing coaching us with a different set of words back around to looking. So it gets here in sentence 5 of paragraph 3, and it says, the closer you come to the foundation of the ego's thought system, the darker it becomes the way. Yet even the little spark in your mind is enough to lighten it. Bring this light fearlessly with you and bravely hold it up to the foundation of the ego's thought system. So the Holy Spirit clearly understands that there is some fear and trepidation about thinking about what we think about. There is some fear and trepidation, the fear of the unknown. What happens if I really think about what I'm thinking about? What happens if I really look at what made me say that? What made me choose that? What made me choose that dress? What made me choose to have a cat rather than a dog? I mean, start with the simple stuff. You know, People say, well, I don't like cats. I know people, that may shock someone. I know people that I don't like cats. And I thought about it. Well, why don't I like cats? I mean, if we just look, it's not, nobody's trying to make you go buy a cat or adopt a cat. But why don't you like cats? And after I thought about it, my mama didn't like cats. My mama was afraid of cats. I know people, if there's a stray cat in the drive when they get home, they will not get out of the car. One being my wife. She will call me from the car. Well, now we have a garage, you know, but when we didn't have covered parking, she would call me from the car. It's a cat outside the door. You need to make the cat move before I get out of the car. you know. So, but it's like, well, why you don't like cats? Why are you afraid of cats? Where's and so much nobody's trying to make you buy a cat, but think about it. Think about where does all of this conditioning come from? We say, well, I don't like this and I don't like that, and I don't like to wear those colors, and those colors don't look good on me because somebody said you those colors at some age and point in your life. And then for the rest of your life, you decide you can't wear that color don't looks good on you. you know, and it's just I'm saying these little examples like this because clearly the Holy Spirit sees that we are afraid to look. I'm not trying to say in fact, my wife and I was talking about yellow, and somebody was saying that my skin color and my tone, I can't wear yellow. It just washes me out. And so we were talking about that, but is that true? Because we see other people with your skin tone where they look great, you know. And so, but somebody told you, oh, that color looks horrible on you. Don't ever wear that color. And it probably was your mother or some trusting figure. Uh, Regina Darnakis was saying this week in the live meeting that she really didn't have body consciousness about how she looked physically until she was like 18 years old. And her mom, she spent the rest of her life being self-conscious. And then after getting in her spiritual journey, uh, trying to undo what her mom said when she was around 18. When she was around 18, her mom looked at her and said, oh my God, you're going to have cellulite just like me. And went into all that story. And so she started hating her body. At that point, she was fine. And from that point of 18 years old, she began a journey of hating her body. There was no body hate until her mother said that. And that happens. I know my mom said some things to me that I had to undo. And I all off stories to those body mind stories, but it happens. And so, but we have to look at it. The process of being able to just say, well, let me look at that. It's a belief, it's a lie. And I thought about this in which we addressed it before. Because you believe something doesn't make it true. It means you believe it. You believe that guy was a great guy until he wasn't. Until he was sleeping, until he had a wife across town and a woman on the other side. And then he said, oh, you're a good man. Oh, he's a wonderful man. He's a loving man. I used to tell my wife, I used to say to her, I'm like, hold up with this. Oh, you're a I said, cause somebody gives you gifts and cause somebody does nice things for you. That don't mean that they're trustworthy. You don't bank account is like the little gifts and trinkets that they buy you could be like buying a hamburger off the dollar menu at McDonald's according to their budget. So they have to wine and dine you, and you think, oh, nobody's ever spent this kind of money on me. You know, nobody's ever been so generous. I mean, he's just throwing change at you, and he's got 3 other women across the state. You know, but you believe he's a great man. You believe he's an honorable man. You know, because you believe something, don't make it true. And that's where we get tripped up. Well, I believed this about myself for 40 years. I believed this about myself for 30 years. I believed this about my for 20 years, for 60 years. Well, so Lori, back to that again. Is Lori still here? So, you know, because you believe something doesn't make it true. And what did Gloria say? We do not know what anything is for. No, we have a lot of projections and perceptions that we throw onto stuff. So remember, and so I found this little spot that I posted already in Pal Talk. And I'm going to post it in Zoom since Zuma and Karen is hanging out in Zoom. It may already be in there. Let's see. But here we go. Chat. And so we can all read together, because you know how my reading of A Course in Miracle goes. The rhythm doesn't always my soul. You know, I'm a soul man. I think Helen was a little bit country and I'm a little bit rock and roll. So the way the Holy Spirit was speaking through Helen, our rhythm is off. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So anyway, remember what was said about the frightening perceptions of little children, which terrify them because they do not understand them. If they ask for enlightenment and accept it, their fears vanish. But if they hide their nightmares, they will keep them. It is easy to help an uncertain child, for he recognizes that he does not understand what his perceptions mean. Yet you believe that you do understand yours, talking to the grown folks. And of course, Jesus already said, except we come as these little children, we can't enter into heaven. We're going to stay in hell. Unless we come as the little children, life is hell. See, and it says here, it is easy to help an uncertain child, for he recognizes that he does not understand what his perception means. But see, we know everything. We got all this experience, and we know we got this life experience, and we know what everything is for, which Glorian has already quoted. We don't know what anything is for, but we're too quick to know something. So unless we come as these little kids, we're going to stay in the nightmare. Unless we stop knowing until we really know with a capital K, we're going to remain in the nightmare, because our knowing is just based on history. Our knowing is just based on past experiences and stuff that we say we know. That's not the knowing of the Holy Spirit. It is easy, and I'm reading it for the 3rd or 4th time. It is easy to help an uncertain child. We need to get this, for he recognizes that he does not understand what his perception means. Dove and Glorian often reminds us, Glorian says it a lot, if you listen to her, we don't know what anything is for. I mean, that's something that we need to stamp, get a tattoo on our hand, on the back of our hand. So when we just look down at our hand, we remember, oh, I don't know what anything is for. I may get that tattoo. I have one. I never did go back and get the second one. I may get, I don't know what anything is for, a tattoo down my arm. Because we really need to remember that. Excuse me. But if they hide their nightmares, they will keep them. So I'm afraid to look. In other words, if I don't look at my nightmare, I will keep them. It is easy to help an uncertain child, for he recognizes that he does not understand what his perception means. Yet you grown folks believe that you do understand yours. Little children, you are, and he's referring to us grown folks now as little children who are afraid to look at ourselves, who are afraid to think about what we're thinking about. Now he's calling us little children. Yet you believe that you understand yours. Little child, Regis, your head under of your heavy blankets you have laid upon yourself. You are hiding your head under the heavy cover, under the cover of the heavy blankets you have laid upon yourself. You are hiding your nightmares in the darkness of your own false and refusing to open your eyes and look at them. Let us not save nightmares, for they fitting offerings for Christ, and so they are not fit gifts for you. Take off the covers, take off the covers, and look at what you are afraid of. Only the anticipation will frighten you, for the reality of nothingness cannot be frightening. Let us not delay this, for your dream of hatred will not leave without help, and help is here. So you're not alone when you look. You're not alone when you look. Help is here. Just like the little child that's grabbing a hold to his mom or dad's pants leg or dress or skirt and gripping tight because they're afraid, and they have their face buried into their parents' leg and they're holding on tight because they don't want to look. Well, that's their help. To a child, mom or dad is God. They don't have a concept of God yet. So for their life, their protection, their provision is in dad. So this is the person that will save me, that will help me pass through. And I was sharing this with a group the other day, and I just saw this, and I was definitely this little kid at some point in my life. You know how they have those little grates when you're walking down the sidewalk, and at a certain point, there's these grates with all the little holes that's at a portion of the sidewalk, I guess, where sewage or something passes through under the ground, and they couldn't put concrete. And so at a certain age, kids are super afraid of walking across that because it's the fear that I'm going to fall down in there. And so I just saw this a couple of days ago. There was this grate that I passed by every day near my job, walking down the sidewalk. And this family was about to cross it, and this kid did not want to go any further. They did not want to step on that little metal iron grate to keep walking down the sidewalk, and they was grabbing their parent, and the mother was like, come on. And so, you know, how parents get a little impatient, and we forget, afraid of that stuff at one point in time. And on another day, I saw another little kid with his dad, and he just did everything he could to walk around it. He wasn't going to step on it. And so this is how we are. We're afraid, and we hold on to our parents to help us through this fearful moment in our life. And the Holy Spirit is saying, you hold on to me. You're not looking at what you're afraid of alone. You're looking at it with help. Only the anticipation will frighten you, for the reality of nothingness cannot be frightening. Let us not delay this. Let us not delay this, for your dream of hatred will not leave will not leave you without help, and help is here. Learn to be quiet in the midst of turmoil, for quietness is the end of strife, and this is the journey of peace. Be still and know that you are God, and that God is with you everywhere you go. So, in the midst of turmoil, learn to be quiet. Learn to be quiet in the midst of turmoil, for quietness is the end of strife, and this is the journey of peace. Look straight at every image that rises to delay you. Look straight at every image that rises to delay you. Look straight. So this is the takeaway for the last 3 days that I've been on here. We got to be willing to look. Nothing else, no other decisions. And it's so profound to me how the ego makes us think, if I look, I'm going to have to do something. If I look at why I'm afraid of cats, I'll have to go adopt one. No, it's just wanting you to look. Just dispel the illusion. Nobody's saying if you decide I'm no longer afraid of cats, you got to go out tomorrow and get one. Nobody said if you look at why you're afraid to wear red and you look at it and you realize, oh, that's a belief that was passed on to me about red, that I'm a Jezebel and loose women wear red, So if I look at all that is false, don't mean I got to buy a red dress or a red suit. But that's what the ego jumps right in. If you look, you're going to have to do something. And as Carrie say, in a nanosecond, something will flash across our mind to challenge us when we get ready to look. If the ego thinks we're about to peek behind the kimono, it'll flash something in a nanosecond through our head. Oh, well, I don't want to look, because if I look, I'll have to quit my job. If I look, I'll have to pay off my wife's car note. If I look, I have to do something. No, the looking dispels the illusion, the willingness. That's why the Course in Miracles through the workbook teaches us to be willing to see. Above all else, I'm willing to see. And it's just amazing that all these paragraphs and sections that I've tied together over the last 3 days, all is encouraging us to just look. Nothing else. Just look at the belie, the belief, the belie, the lie that's right in the middle, LIE, of belief, what I believe to be true. And just because I believe something, don't make it true. It just means I believe it. Just because I believe I'm a body, don't mean I'm a body. I've been taught to believe it. And that's why we retrain the self-conscious, the subconscious. We retrain the thinking mind by repeating that mantra over and over throughout our life. I am not a body. I am free. Still as God created me. It doesn't mean that it's going to take away all of your frustration and anxiety in a second. You can say that and still be afraid of cancer. You can say that and still be afraid of your new diabetes diagnosis. But it is training. It is mind training. It is training the subconscious mind. It doesn't always, we try to take these things and use these practices as like magic tricks. Like, oh, I'm frustrated today and I'll just say this over and over and I won't be frustrated anymore. That's not why it's being presented. That's not why these truths and these practices are being presented. For you to go through life and not experience what human doings experience. But it is to get you through life with peace. It is to get you through life with happiness. Learn to be quiet in the midst of turmoil, for quietness is the end of strife, and this is the journey of peace. Look straight at every image that rises to delay you, for the goal is inevitable because it is eternal. The goal of love is but your right, and it belongs to you despite you. Isn't that beautiful? The goal of love is but your right, and it belongs to you despite your dreams. So it don't matter what I've cooked up and dreamed up myself, my past that I call it, that we call past. The goal of love, which is happiness, the goal of love, which is God, the goal of love, which is peace, is but your right. Peace is my right. Happiness is my right. Love is my right. God is my right. The goal is love is but your right, and it belongs to me despite my dreams. Yes or yes. Despite my dreams. So that's why you hear Regis always saying, so, I mean, so your thought system and your friend and your mama and your classmate that's known you since you was 8 years old, they present you with all the stories of your life and you just say, so, because no matter what has been cooked up and dreamed up, the goal of love is but your right, and it belongs to you despite your dreams. For I'm not a body, I remain as God created me. And when I start saying I remain as God created me, I'm talking about I remain innocent. Who said you were naked? Why are you hiding, Regis? You are still innocent. You are still innocent as a newborn babe. And we don't hold anything against a newborn baby. They can poop all over us. They can pee on us. They can puke on us. They can scream to the top of their little baby lungs. And we don't hold anything against them. And I am as innocent still. I am God's beloved child in whom he is well pleased. The end. I remain as God created me. So I love this last line of this paragraph. The goal of love is but your right. It's my right. You want to talk about rights? You have a right to be happy. And it belongs to you despite your story. Let go of the story and allow the glory. It belongs to you. It doesn't matter who abandoned you. If you was in the foster care system, it doesn't matter who was molesting and raping you as a child. It doesn't matter who rejected you in school, who said you weren't pretty, who said you wasn't enough, who said you wasn't a part of the cool kids group, who said you couldn't wear yellow, who said you was going to have cellulite, you don't have the right body, you're poor people, and poor people are not worthy in this world. It belongs to you despite your dreams. You still want what God wills, and no nightmare can defeat a child of God in his purpose. You still want what God wills, and no nightmare can defeat a child of God in his purpose. For your purpose was given you by God. We want the purpose-driven life. We don't want the purpose given us by God. We want the purpose driven life. We want to be driven. We want the body world purpose. We want significance and validation in the world. For your purpose was given you by God, and you must accomplish it because it is His will. And is for me to be happy. Awake and remember your purpose, for it is your will to do so. What accomplished for you must be yours. Do not let your hatred stand in the way of love, for nothing can withstand the love of Christ for his Father or his Father's love for him. Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm going to get out of this chapter 12. 12. Uh-oh. What am I hearing? I'm hearing something in my ear. But anyway, we're good, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, uh, wonderful remembrance of this, was such an encouragement for me just to be willing to look. I'm a person, I'm probably known for not being afraid to look, but it still is such encouragement to, oh, that's Dove I'm hearing in the background. And Dove is probably not muted. So I knew I was hearing something. Yep, Dove is not muted. So Lynn making, oh, somebody muted him. Thank you. All right. And so I knew I was hearing something. All right. And see, Dove has taken over the screen for a moment. Blessings. Because whose ever voice is being transmitted pops up. And so, but I love this depiction of us hiding under the covers, you know, and all we're asked to do is just peep out, let a little light in, just crack the covers back a little bit, and the light dispels the darkness. It doesn't chase it away because there's nothing to chase. There's no boogeyman, there's no monster. It's just peep between the cracks of my hand. If I have my hand covering my face and I'm peeking through my fingers, trying to peek out to see what I see, I don't see anything. We've never seen a monster when we were hiding. And as adults, should stop acting like children. The Holy Spirit says, little child, get from under the cover, because when we're afraid to look, when we just won't look, we don't want to talk about it. That's another way we say that we don't look. I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. No, I don't want to talk about it. Well, what made you say that? I don't know. Well, if you don't know, who knows? Well, we was talking earlier about it. Well, I feel so attractive. Why? Why are you attracted to that? I realized many years ago I was attracted to drama because I was dating this lady. She was so peaceful. I mean, she was so peaceful. And something came up in me and wanted to be bored with that. I'm like, what is that? Wait a minute. Are you telling me all these years I've been a drama? I've been liking women with drama. It's been me because this lady, nothing wrong. If I didn't call her for 4 days, when I called her, she wouldn't say, why haven't I heard from you? You hadn't called me in 4 days. None of that. We just pick up and talk right where we left off. You know, what's wrong? I'm not going to be fussed at for not calling for the last 3 days. I'm not going to be made to feel like I did something wrong, even though she does have a phone. She could have called me. But, you know, what's something wrong? Oh, yes, something wrong. All right. Regis, you a drama king. You like a lady with some drama, with some issues. You don't like a self-confident woman that don't need me to validate her every day. You like the hamster wheel. You don't really want to get off. You know. So I realized that it was like, aha, oh, I something here. But I'm willing to look instead of blame being boring and blaming her for not being adventurous and blame her for just not exciting me. You supposed to excite me. You know, I was willing to look and being able to look. I didn't have to do anything else. It healed me from liking drama. It healed me from being attracted to drama. It healed me from being wanted to meet somebody. I can't breathe without you. I can't live without you. I know I talk to you and hold the phone to 4 o'clock in the morning when I have to be at work at 7. That's stupid. Okay, that's just stupid. That ain't love. So it healed me of all of that. You know, and and Glorian typed in the Pal Talk chat, wow, holy brother, she truly blessed you, made no demands. No demands, Gloria. No demands. And I was just used to these demands, you know, make me laugh, make me smile, make me feel good about myself, you know, jump through hoops, Regis, do backflips, Regis, spend money that you don't have on me, Regis. Just, you know, no demands. And so, you know, but I would still be that guy if I wasn't willing to look. Right now is just the willingness, the humility, the fearlessness, just to look. And nothing else has to be done. Because light shines away the darkness. When you let the light in, when you pull the covers back and let a little light in and see, oh, there's nothing there. The calls were coming from inside the house. And so where is my clock? Oh, there it is, 9:28. And see how awareness made me aware that it was about that time, even though I know we have a 30-minute gap between me and Karen. We can let Karen start early. And she probably has a lot to say. And she start early, she can finish early. So I said I was going to tie all of these paragraphs about afraid to look, being willing to look. Chapter 11, the dynamics of the ego. One can escape from illusions unless he looks at them. For not looking, they are protected. It's oh yeah, and the preference says, as Laura typed, love is incapable of asking for anything. And see, people think when you don't demand that you don't love them. That's because of the movies we watch. You know, that's because of all the mind training that this world has given us through crazy codependent love songs. As Zuma reminds us, you know, through these codependent love movies, these romantic comedies, and these crazy codependent love songs we have built our belief system on. And we don't realize love is incapable of asking for anything. And someone who truly loves us, you know, and even love will, oh, I want to go. Okay, well, I want you to go because I don't want you to feel imprisoned. I don't want you to feel trapped. I don't want you to feel threatened and intimidated. And so if you want to run, run. And no, that means he didn't love me because he let me leave. No, he loved you enough that he wanted you to be happy. And if you think leaving me is going to make you happy. Bye-bye. Because love wants you and it makes no demands of you. It doesn't even demand with me for my benefit. You're free to go. You're free to come. You're free to stay, and you're free to go. So I don't know why I just said that, but there it is. So the dynamics of the ego, no one can escape from illusion unless he looks at them. For not looking is the way they are protected. There is no need to shrink from illusion, for they cannot be dangerous. And that's the paragraphs we were in on Monday and Tuesday. In paragraph 2 of section 5, chapter 11, what is healing but the removal of all that stands in the way of knowledge? And how else can one dispel illusions except by looking at them directly without protecting them? Be not afraid, therefore, for what you will be looking at is the source of fear, and you are beginning to learn that fear is not real. It's just false appearing real. FEAR, false evidence appearing real. And I see Lori's comment, and she said, "You're free to go because Rod used to say that to me and even let me do it." I mean, it made me mad. Yep. That's real. Be not afraid. Therefore, for what you will be looking at is the source of fear, and you are beginning to learn that fear is real. And so, I'm just jumping to paragraph 3. I'm just giving tidbits. Let us begin this lesson in ego dynamics by understanding that the term itself does not mean anything. That's why I say the thinking mind, the habitual mind, the ego, if you will, the devil made me do it. But none of it means anything. Let us begin this lesson in ego dynamics by understanding that the term itself does not mean anything. It contains the very contradiction in terms that makes it meaningless. Dynamics implies the power to do something, and the whole separate fallacy lies in the belief that the ego has the power to do anything. The ego is fearful to you because you believe this, yet the truth is very simple. All power is of God. What is not of him has no power to do anything. When we look at the ego, then not considering dynamics, but delusions. There is no such thing as the dynamics of the ego. When we look at the ego, then we are not considering dynamics, but delusions. You can surely regard a delusional system without fear, for it cannot have any effects if its source is not real. So all of this from the introduction of chapter 11 to section 5, the dynamics of from chapter 12, when I was talking about pulling the covers over our head like little kids, all of this is just, my point is encouraging us to look, to simply look, to just look. Above all else, I want to see our healing, our deliverance, our emancipation, our freedom from the prison of hell that we've created for ourselves with all of our securities, with all of our ideas, of unworthiness is just vanished when we look. And so I said I was somehow tie this into uh, yesterday's lesson, day 235. This is the 236th day of the year. But lesson 235, God in his mercy wills that I be saved. I need but look, in my birthday lesson, I need but look. If this week, if you listen to Regis at all, you ought to be encouraged to look. I need but look. And thank you, Zuma, for posting. And I'm just letting it marinate. I need but look. Just look first. I need but look upon all things that seem, again, we're talking about delusions, we're talking about fear, false evidence appearing real, that seem to hurt me. I need but look at the boogeyman. I need but look at the monster. I need but look at all things all things, all things, all things, all things, the fear of the cat, the fear of the dogs, the fear of the mouse. You want to burn down the house because a mouse ran through it. You're going to tear up your whole house. I need but look upon all things that seem to hurt me, and with perfect certainty assure myself, God wills that I be saved from this. And merely, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything but look and remember. I didn't buy anything. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't throw out anything. I didn't break up with anybody. I didn't do anything. All I did was look and remember. I need but look and with perfect certainty assure myself, God wills that I be saved from this, and merely watch them disappear. I need but keep in my mind my Father's will for me is only happiness, to find that only happiness has come to me. So when we were in chapter 12, and it was telling us purpose and God's will, and I was saying God's will for me is happiness. You still want what God wills. This is back in chapter 12. You still want what God wills, and no nightmare can defeat a child of God in his purpose. For your purpose has been given you by God, and you must accomplish it because it is his will. And I love to say, and I often say, what will of God is there that won't be established? What will overwheel the will of God? Nothing. I need but keep in my mind my Father's will for me is only happiness, to find that only happiness has come to me. I'm back in lesson 235. And all I'm asked to do is look and remember. Just look. And the remembrance is really organic. It's not necessarily remember what the Course in Miracles says, but what happens when we look, we all of a sudden we remember that this is not true. This is a lie. We just, in whatever words and whatever, however we commit ourselves within ourselves with our vocabulary, when we just remember, oh, there's nothing going on. There's no reason to be mad. This is all a misunderstanding. This is nothing. This is even, I don't even know what we're apologizing for. It's just nothing. You know, and all of that happens, just look. And on that note, this we'll have in Karen.
You are listening live to ACIM Gather, a gathering for A Course in Miracles students and teachers. For more shows and information, visit acimgather.com.